Go for it, Roger, whenever you're ready, sir.
Go for what?
You can start.
You're chair until we vote you in for number one.
Because you're the vice chair anyway.
Yes, you're the vice chair.
Chair of vice.
I'll go through the motions then anyway. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this meeting of the Town Council's Planning and Environment Committee. If the fire alarm goes off, it's not a drill. Please exit the building quickly and quietly as you can, either through the way that you came in or through the fire doors at the far end. So the first item on the agenda this evening is to elect a chair to this Planning and Environment Committee.
Please, Chair, may I speak?
Of course.
Can I please, this is because Councillor Luke Harrison has gone back to university and will be absent for a number of meetings, and I would very much like to put forward Councillor Small's name to be the chair.
I second that.
I said that.
Unanimous.
Carried. May I say that
Thank you.
apart from thank you, that I accept this post on condition. Now, I'm determined that this should be the condition, that this committee follows the rules issued by Cheshire East as regards what is and what isn't a planning matter. Of course, I'm thinking back to an occasion, or maybe two occasions, when covenants were considered by this committee, in my view, totally inappropriately. I hope that doesn't happen again, because if it does, I shall resign immediately. Is that condition?
Duly noted.
Is that condition?
Duly noted.
I'll second that.
Okay.
So are we doing a proper proposal then and a voting?
It's been proposed and seconded. Are you voting in favour? You are allowed to vote in favour of yourself, as strange as it is. Yes, unanimous.
Yes, told us, didn't you?
Agenda item 2, to receive apologies for absence. I guess we have received an apology from Councillor Harrison.
Is he still on the committee? Is he still going to be on the committee?
Oh,
Yes, it will be when he comes back.
Yes. Great. Okay.
Can we do a blanket
Yes.
thingy, dispensation for him?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Until January.
Yeah.
So be absent for October, this one, November, December, then back for a January one, and then back for the April one.
Yeah.
So, I have a proposal for that.
Yeah. Proposing.
And a seconder. Pete.
Yeah.
And are we all in favour?
Yeah.
Good.
Agenda item 3, to note declarations of interest and requests for dispensation to discuss and vote on a matter in which a member or a co-opted member has a disclosable pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest. Does anybody feel that?
Non-chair.
No. Thank you. Open forum. Agenda item 4, open forum. Comment and questions concerning items on this agenda may be put to the council by the public during this period. Matters which in the chair's view require debate and or a discussion will be referred to the next committee or council meeting as appropriate. The public forum is restricted to 15 minutes unless the chair allows otherwise. There aren't any members of the public here, but I wish to make a statement. Councillor Harrison asked that a couple of the sentences of the Hanforth Greenbelt and Development Survey report should be read out. So I shall do that now. Within this report, the majority of respondents, that is 71%, felt there should be no new Greenbelt development, with roughly 65% expressing that the Planning and Environment Committee should solely object to all greenbelt development on account of greenbelt harm. The other, roughly 35% of total respondents, expressed that the council should weigh the benefits of the development within the greenbelt for harm caused, with the same respondents also stating that the council should proactively suggest ways to balance greenbelt harm. So I believe this committee should more or less follow that guidance. I.e., if we see a planning application which is for a bit of greenbelt land, we initially try to oppose such application unless we see that the development is of such benefit that any harm to the greenbelt is outweighed. Is that a good way of operating?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Will you take that bit of verbiage out of the report, Ashley, and put it into this, I guess, the minutes, yes?
Yeah.
To approve and sign the minutes of the, agenda item 5, to approve and sign the minutes of the Extraordinary Planning and Environment Committee meeting of the 9th of September 2025. I had no problems with these minutes, but I would like to say it's on page 2, where planning application 25 stroke 25284, which relates to the extension of the Greek restaurant onto the pavement, has been approved by Cheshire East Council.
Sorry, what was that?
The Greek restaurant extension out onto the pavement.
Oh, yes, yes.
Been approved, is it?
Yes, it's been approved by Cheshire East.
It's actually on Facebook.
Yeah.
It's been approved.
So, and of course, we voted for that to happen.
Yes, we did.
Has anybody else got any comments on the minutes?
No, no comments, Chair, from me.
Anyone else got comments on the minutes?
No.
Would somebody like to propose acceptance of these minutes? And a seconder? And those in favour? That's unanimous. So the minutes have been approved. I think the next item, agenda item 6, is one of Ashley's. Would you like to pass comment on this?
Just wanted you all to be aware. I know it's a struggle. Have you been able to use the Cheshire's planning portal now it's been updated?
Well, yes and no.
Yes
from
and
my
no.
point of view.
Yes and no.
I got onto some of them, and then I got, "Are you a human being?" Did anybody else get that?
Everybody.
And I refuse to do those things. I will not do it. Sorry, but
No,
I'm
I
not
do
giving
it
my
once.
information out to
But
anybody.
it's every time we put a new plan application in.
Yeah.
It's, are you a robot? Are you a robot? No.
I know it's
not
painful.
equal.
Yeah.
That's painful. You do need to register.
Right, as
You do need to
individual.
register as an individual.
All
Yes.
right.
I'm registered on behalf of the town council. So our submissions go through and will come up as Sandport Town Council. But you do still need to register as individuals. Chris, I did this with you.
I thought you did.
I've
yes.
done that with Chris.
Yeah.
So he is registered.
Right.
It's just going forward, you won't be able to see the representations come up unless
You registered.
you're registered and Cheshire East
Ah.
know
Okay.
who you are.
Can you help me through that?
I can
then,
help you
please?
through that,
I
yeah.
wondered why.
Roger's probably able to do it.
Are you registered? Because you had this discussion, you weren't sure.
I can't tell you whether I'm registered or not, but I assume I am, because I can get into the portal. I can see the comments on any planning application, but I am plagued with this business, are you a human, and indicate the beds or the clocks or
I think
whatever.
registration helps alleviate some of that as well, because they sort of put you to a genuine email address and so on and so forth and know that you're a real
Right,
person.
okay,
So,
fair enough.
yeah,
Right.
I think that does. I don't get that very much at all
Right.
now.
So is it possible to contact Cheshire East and say how annoyed we are with this constant checking?
It does appear in the media quite frequently how annoyed everybody is with it.
Right.
I don't know if you noticed on the,
No,
on the
I
Knutsford Guardian.
Right.
Yeah, there's quite a few stories.
Yeah.
Right.
The MP's written to say
I
how
think
annoyed she is.
I
with it.
think a note from the council might be in order.
Yeah, indeed.
Quite
I
honestly.
agree.
But if anyone else wants to take you through the registration, I can do that for you.
Yeah, if you would.
Because I think going forward, you'll definitely need to be registered
Right.
to be able to see everything that goes on there.
I mean, that makes sense.
Mm.
You know, that you are a bona fide individual, but I'm floored if I'm going to be filling in, are you a human being every time I look at the application.
Don't want any of you to get to this point where you're not actually able to see applications properly or representation
Well, I could
properly.
see, I saw the majority of them, and then I got to the last two, and it wouldn't let me on.
Right.
So I don't know whether there's like a limited number.
There could be a limit on how many you're allowed to look at before it starts blocking you or something
Right.
like that.
Okay.
I got through the first 4 or 5, and then all the others.
Yeah, well, that's, and I closed it down and went in again, and it still had the same thing. So it's obviously, it's the email address that you log in from.
I think so.
So on that question then, would we have to log in from our councillor's email, or can we do it from?
You can do it from your councillor's email address as well. So yes, you can use that. So
And
you
can
don't
I
have to
use
do
the
it.
other one?
You don't have to do it personally. You can use your.
But you could use.
But you can use your personal one if you do want to.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
So will you send a note to Cheshire East?
Yes.
Yeah. These, Ashley? That would be good. Are we all done with
Yes.
agenda item 6?
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, good. So we get on to the meat of the meeting, I suppose. Agenda item 7, to consider planning application 253386 Hanos, erection of a single-storey side extension, erection of a single-storey rear extension, erection of front extension and alterations to landscaping for Morton Drive, Ample. This has already been approved by Cheshire East, so we can move on. Okay. Agenda item 8. Here we go. To consider planning application 253503 for replacement of existing dwelling house with new build dwelling house 23 Forward Road, Ample. I've written an awful lot on this, but I think the majority of it needs reading out. Is the committee receptive to that idea?
Yeah, I think so. It's really important, this one.
Just a sec. At the last meeting, was the gentleman that sat here, he was in reference to this, wasn't he?
Next door neighbour.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was in April that we met to consider planning application 250706 4, which was replacement of a single-storey residential dwelling with a new two-storey residential dwelling at 23 Hall Road. I won't read out all the detail here. We didn't like it, and we opposed it. That application was withdrawn on the 25th of April 2025. Since that time, the bungalow at 23 Hall Road has been virtually demolished, reportedly without the consent of the planning department at Cheshire East Council, and new building work has commenced. So clearly, this application 253503 4 is a retrospective application. This property was a bungalow forming part of a terrace of similar properties linked via their garage units. The proposed eastward extension of 6 metres of the bungalow would almost double the floor area of the property and would shade the rear garden of number 21 Hallwood Road. The northeast facing windows of the extension may also lead to some loss of privacy for the rear garden of number 21 Hallwood Road. The proposed roof for the property is of complex design, having 3 dormer-style gable ends. The proposed roof will markedly alter the northwestern elevation of the building, thus destroying the uniformity of the street scene. The same is true of the proposed porch-like front extension, which will also reduce the available car parking area. The Town Council notes that the Nature Conservation Department of Cheshire East Council has evidence of the loss of trees and grass lawn from the site, and that no steps have been taken to produce a 10% gain in biodiversity. The Town Council also notes that United Utilities have reported that the applicant has failed to properly identify the location of water mains and drainage pipes. These problems collectively mean that the Town Council does not recommend application 25-3503 for approval. I think this last paragraph is worth putting in. The Town Council is aware that the demolition / rebuilding process has reportedly caused damage to the buildings of 21 and 25 Hallwood Road. It will surely therefore have angered and caused anxiety for the owners of those properties. The Town Council hope and trust the problems associated with number 23 Hallwood Road will be speedily resolved to the satisfaction of the owners of the immediately adjacent properties.
This is my pet hate, as you well know. And I see no point in having a planning application system where people just ride roughshod over it and do whatever they like. Now, I happen to know that they were reported to
Planning enforcement.
That planning enforcement allegedly have done nothing to stop the building, and I think that's wrong. I think if somebody goes ahead without planning permission, they should automatically be stopped by Cheshire East until such time as planning permission is gained. I am totally against this. I've been and had a look at it. It looks dreadful. They've made a heck of a mess all over the place from day one. There were people all over the place. There was rubbish all over the place. There was no facilities for the workmen, etc., etc. The neighbours have gone through hell.
Yes.
And I think that's totally unacceptable. And I heartily would propose that we reject this because it's retrospective. I just don't, it doesn't fit. The whole thing just doesn't fit. And that was the whole idea when we rejected the first plan back in April, that it wasn't, what's the word I'm going for?
In keeping.
Sorry?
In keeping.
Yeah.
In keeping, that'll do. It wasn't in keeping. And this isn't, it's, well, you'll see the comments from the neighbours, and I think they're all correct. It just makes a nonsense of the whole planning system.
Are they still building?
Yes?
Are they?
Not
I think,
sure. I think they've stopped.
I think they've stopped, because I've
Oh,
been
have they
there
now?
twice,
Yeah.
2 separate days,
Yeah.
during the day, different times, and there was no work, and I took
Yeah.
pictures of it,
Yeah,
Right.
I've got a similar picture.
and there's no work, there's been no work on site at all.
Right, well, I went last week and there was somebody there. I think it was last week. There was somebody there. So maybe they have stopped since then. Well, that's fine. They've stopped. I'm delighted. Because, you know, we can't just do this.
Totally agree. Hasn't there been a recommendation that it's rebuilt to the same original size? I saw somewhere on
Is that the plan now, is it, Chris? Because it
Sorry?
looks like it's the same profile.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm seeing it.
I just moved down a few inches, that's all.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's that. It's not the
Yeah.
straight up, unless there's going to be huge chunks on the roof.
No, it's worse than that, Pete.
Was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Yeah, the roof design is
And it had dormers
most
all sorts of
bizarre. Yeah.
So that's still the one that pushing for, is it?
Yes. As the chair said, there's 3 dormers.
It looks to me like because they didn't get the 2-floor extension, they've done something like a mezzanine type thing,
Yeah.
where they've now got these.
A height in the upper floor.
So that's how it's going to look from Hallwood Road.
But they haven't gone high then, so it's more of a bungalow, isn't it?
Yeah, the roof height is the same as previously existing, but then if you take look at the other elevation, it's bizarre. It's bizarre.
That's the size.
Why are these dormer parts of the roof required? You know, when they could have just extended the existing roof out from the back.
That's
to
the
cover there.
rooms up there as well.
Well, it's made it a 2-storey building.
Yeah.
Yeah, possibly.
It is, yeah, within the roof. Yeah.
So
they've lost their parking, haven't they? Presumably. They've done that right.
what we have to bear in mind is that the 2 neighbours have suffered quite
Yes.
a lot
Yeah.
and for
I
a
know.
protracted period of time.
Not so much that, but sort of damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, quite.
to
Can I
their
take, can I take it back though? If that had been the first proposal, what would you have said to that? Because that's not now it's a two-story building, is it? So it's the same height as the ones either side. You know, forgetting the damage, but not just come on now, nothing started yet. What do you say to us?
Well, if you look
Odd, but it's.
at the
okay.
roof design, that alters the look of it dramatically. All you're seeing there is the front elevation.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, this, okay, that looks okay, but what happens when the rest of the roof goes on?
Yeah.
well, because
Because
the back-
you've
Something's on the
got
back,
it
hasn't it? There's something
elevated
central there.
behind there.
Yeah, what's most bizarre. But the
But is that not akin to an extension of the back? They've made it deeper, haven't they, quite clearly?
oh yeah, 60 meters rearward extension.
But you see what I'm saying? If that had been front elevation and had extension on the back of the bungalow, would you have said that's a bit odd?
6
That's
meter
okay.
extension, not 60.
So I'm saying, I said, you've got to probably ignore the first bit in a way. I'll take your point though about not being respected. But suddenly it seems to fit in better than the first option. Is it really out of kilter to block it?
Well, I'd
I'm
ask
not sure
Councillor
then.
Small that because he's a bit more au fait with things than I am. What do you think?
I'm trying to look at it from the point of view of the two next door neighbours.
Yeah.
They've suffered a lot. They've suffered actual damage to their property and the mess and the noise. And this,
Wouldn't
that,
be
and
cleaned
the other.
up? Will they get some recompense, I guess?
In my view, if it were possible, I would like to say we don't support this application. We would like the bungalow reinstated to its previous condition as quickly as possible for the sake of the neighbours.
I'll second
And
that.
I'm inclined to agree with you.
Yeah. I'm sure
I think it's
somewhere-
trying back door.
somewhere in it, I've seen that and wrote down to be rebuilt to the original size.
Yes,
So,
because one of the next door neighbours, that will be the northern one. I'm not sure which number it is, but will have its rear garden shaded by this extension.
Yeah.
And of course,
I think it's 20.
it's impossible for them to achieve this 10% increase in biodiversity when they've hacked down a load of trees at the back and are proposing to more or less get rid of their rear lawn.
I guess we've got to go back to the chair's point that it's been done underhanded, inappropriately, illegally.
Yeah.
And perhaps, it's a time to make an example of somebody.
Yeah,
Well, I really do think
You're not-
it's time Cheshire's put their foot down and started
Yeah.
fining people for this kind of thing because it is unacceptable. We have a planning application portal there so people can apply so that they can look at things and decide whether they are in keeping or not in keeping and so forth and so on. And this person has deliberately
Yeah.
circumvented
Isn't that the
that
point we
system.
have to make? We're against it because.
Yes, sorry, Chair.
I just make a comment on that. Apparently, they did apply for planning permission, but the planning applications were running up to 6 months behind. And a planning inspector apparently came out, I can't verify this, and he said, oh, go ahead.
Well, on this version, not the first version.
So that's potentially why enforcement didn't do anything.
Correct.
right.
Well, isn't the point to make at the very least that they've gone about it completely wrong way,
Yeah.
damaged
Yeah.
neighbours? I think that's the point, like, isn't it? Whether it goes ahead or not, that's definitely what's making you think.
I mean, Chair, we've got 7 applications here we're going through. There's just one.
Yeah.
All the other 6 have done it correctly, so
Yeah.
let's make an example.
Well, I concur with the Chair.
And isn't it the other point that Roger's made, or implied, that the neighbour should be reinstated, repaired appropriately?
And an apology received.
Sorry.
If they've been to Cheshire East originally with an application, I don't know whether we get copies of the application, I've no idea, because I'm on the
Well,
planning.
we've never had
But
come
what
through.
I would like to say is that I can't believe that they would continue it if an inspector's been out and they said, carry on. Now,
Well, all I can
but
say is,
what I would say is, if an inspector does go out, why doesn't he contact our clerk to say?
is there any way we can
visiting
find that out?
or-
I think what you're referring to is the fact that a planning enforcement officer went out.
Yes,
Saw what was going on and said we can't do anything until your application is either approved or.
Well, what's the point of having
Yeah.
enforcement then?
Yeah.
You know, it just makes a nonsense of the system. I'm sorry, I say this every planning meeting because there's always somebody that's doing this. And the more people get away with it, the more planning applications are going to go this way.
Other areas, get them to demolish it.
Yeah, it should be demolished and rebuilt to exactly how it was.
Even if they build the whole building and then put the application in, sorry, you've done it the wrong way around, get rid.
they've just done one in once, they've stopped it and said, you've got to take it back to what it was. Because a lot of the residents actually were up in arms and said, you know, why isn't the town council doing the job that they should be doing? Now you're doing the job, but Cheshire's don't giving you the proper information.
No, and I think that
Because
needs to
if
be
they are
put
being
in our
told-
response to Cheshire's.
But if they're being told by an enforcement officer, oh, carry on, you're okay, they're not going against anything illegal.
No, but they're making a nonsense of the system, aren't they?
Yeah.
Exactly, but that's down to the enforcement officer.
Well, the enforcement officer should be out of a job.
I've read out an awful lot of information as to why we don't like the application.
Yeah.
Yes,
Which
they need to be.
I'd like to see that go in our response to Cheshire East. I've just added something to my final paragraph. The Town Council is aware that the demolition rebuilding process has reportedly caused damage to the buildings of 21 and 25 Hallwood Road. It will surely therefore have angered and caused anxiety for the owners of those properties. Town Council hope and trust the problems associated with 23 Hallwood Road will be speedily resolved to the satisfaction of the owners of the immediately adjacent properties by restoring 23 to the original building,
Correct.
to the form of the
And that
original.
should be enforced
Yes.
speedily. We're coming up to winter now. And bad weather and all the rest of it. I don't know exactly what the damage is, but it needs to be sorted out. PDQ.
Are people happy with that
Yeah.
response? Will someone propose that then?
I'll
All in
second it
favour?
then.
Thank you. Right, from that most difficult of applications to where am I? Planning application, that's agenda item 9. Because the planning application 252962 for temporary fencing to provide site security to Dairy House Farm for a 3-year period to allow completion of the phase of stabilisation and repair works to ensure a secure perimeter throughout Dairy House Farm, Dairy House Lane, Woodford. All I would like to say about this application is that Dairy House Farmhouse and some of its associated farm buildings are Grade 2 listed and form part of Handforth's historical heritage. Handforth Town Council strongly supports the plans of Cheshire East Council not only to improve the security of the site by installing fencing, but also to carry out stabilisation and repair works. Full stop.
Yeah, I concur with that, and the fact that they're doing it, because it is a dangerous site. If anybody gets in there, it's you know, you could end up with a loss of life there, couldn't you? So yes, I've got no objection to this at all.
So may I have a proposer for that?
Propose
And a
that.
seconder? And all in favour? Thank you. Agenda item 10, 253374 House, 37A Woodlands Road, Handforth. Erection of single-storey rear and siding extension, installation of new roof to utility room, erection of single-storey front extension with porch and associated alterations. I know this property fairly well because I've often wondered about it. It lies down a lengthy driveway off Woodlands Road. There is a pair of houses at the end of that driveway. The house is very well separated from its nearest neighbour, which would be 37 Woodlands Road, and on other neighbours, and from other neighbours on Woodlands Road, Goodrington Road and Hill Drive. The proposed single-storey extensions to the rear, east side and front should not adversely affect any neighbouring properties. There are no comments as far as I know from neighbours. It would get my vote for approval.
May I ask a question? Just on that, was that originally one property and then they sold off the land, or were they two put in at the same time?
There was something funny about this one in that it stayed empty for years. So I don't know what was going on, but it stayed empty for years and years.
Right.
And then it was something must have got resolved, and
Yeah, perhaps it
people
was
moved
one of
in
these.
and,
But it's odd, it's set right back.
it's set
I
right back.
have no objection to it.
No,
I think it's perfectly fine.
So can somebody propose that we have no objection to this application, and second that, and all in favour? Agenda item 11, to consider planning application 253249 VOC, 33 Buckley Road, Handforth. And this is a property that's caused us some aggro in the past. If I can refresh your memory, this particular property spans Buckley Road and, is it Clare Avenue?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't remember the detail, but I know there's a lot of argy-bargy about the application that was put in at the time. Oh, they wanted to build several houses on the site, didn't they? Yeah. But now it's just a single original property, but they want to extend it, and they've got planning permission to do that, but they want some variations on conditions. One of those is to change an upper rear window to a Juliet balcony with a French door. That might reduce the privacy of the back gardens of number 33A and 34 to some extent, I suppose. And also a proposed window to an ensuite first floor bathroom might cause some loss of privacy for number 34 Buckley Road. Although they say the presence of trees and bushes between the properties should minimise that problem. No objections from neighbours are recorded. If it were up to me, I would have no objection to this.
Me neither.
No, me neither. I can see that if there's a window already there,
Yeah.
and all they want to do is make the window bigger,
Yeah.
to more light in, and put a balcony there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have no
Yeah,
objection at
yeah.
all.
Well, the back garden, if I remember it, is pretty extensive. So,
It is,
as I said, it goes right round to Clare Avenue. So we need somebody to propose that we have no objection to this.
No proposal.
Seconders, all in favour? Unanimous.
So who seconded that?
Sorry?
Who seconded it?
Chris, I think.
Chris, thank you.
Is that one back onto a certain person?
Sorry.
Is the house back onto a certain person? Ex-councillor?
He lives near. I'm not sure whether there's contact. Right. So agenda item 12. This is an old chestnut as well, isn't it? Planning application 253551 house holder. Proposed erection of an outbuilding at 9 Hallwood Road. The previous application was to introduce an outbuilding to the north of the bungalow was refused on the grounds that the fencing proposed for the front of the property would introduce a hard boundary treatment that is out of keeping with the landscape character of the street scene. And the proposed outbuilding would not appear subservient to the existing bungalow and is not appropriately positioned behind the dwelling and not sufficiently screened by soft landscaping. That was Cheshire East's comments, I think. We had no objection to the application, but recommended that the self-contained unit did not become a sublet residential property, and secondly, that the existing boundary hedge be retained and properly maintained. So we gave it the thumbs up fundamentally, but Cheshire East did not. Anyway, in this new application, no fencing is proposed at the front of the property. Instead, a new hedge is proposed halfway down the side of the bungalow to link with the existing hedging on Morton Drive. The proposed outbuilding has been moved to the rear of the bungalow, and the applicant hopes that these changes will make the plan acceptable to the planning department. The proposed use of the outbuilding is still not made clear, but the main room is provided with a combined bathroom and utility room. A small room, possibly a bedroom, is provided at the southern end of the building. There's no detail as to how the building is to be heated, no detail concerning the disposal of surface or foul water. The outbuilding is unlikely to lead to a loss of privacy or light for neighbours. That's my estimation at any rate. However, several objections have been raised by neighbours who question the proposed use of the outbuilding and its possible effects on street-side parking. In my view, I'd recommend approval of this, subject to provision of the detail regarding heating and drainage, and subject to the condition that we specified before, that this self-contained outbuilding doesn't become a sublet residential property.
It could be a granny flat, couldn't it? So,
Yeah.
Excuse me, this is where I got kicked out on these two, so I haven't been able to look at them. But presumably the comments from Cheshire East last time, that's the hedge that is now put in. Does that kind of satisfy what they said when they rejected the original?
yes, now the rear.
I think so, yes.
Right, okay. Yeah, I've got
So
no
they
problem.
created a softer landscape appearance.
Yeah.
So how do we feel about this?
Well, I think I got on what you said.
So
It shouldn't be sublet.
we give it our approval, providing that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Somebody like to propose that? Chris? Seconder? Peter? All in favour? Okay. That brings us to agenda item 13. To consider planning application 253550 householder, proposed double-storey wrap-round extension with internal remodelling and associated works, 51 Grangeway, Hampthorne. 51 Grangeway is a detached house that occupies a site bounded to the west and south by Hanforth Grange Primary School. Numbers 34 and 36 Grangeway lie to the northeast of the property, and number 49 immediately to the south. In my view, the proposed extensions to number 51 should not reduce the amenity of near neighbours at 34 and 36 Grangeway.
No.
However, a gap between the buildings of the extended number 51 and number 49 Grangeway will become less than 1 metre. Assuming that the north-facing elevation of 49 Grangeway contains no windows, there should be no problem with regards to the loss of natural light. However, the narrow gap between 49 and 51 might create problems with respect to the future maintenance of either building. No objections from neighbours are recorded. How do we feel about this one?
I don't think I've got any objections to this.
There are no complaints.
I'm surprised there haven't been objections, but if there haven't, then we can't take them into consideration.
Right. So, would somebody like to suggest that we support this application, or whatever the term is? Seconder, And all in favour? Thank you. And that closes the meeting, according to me, at 18:39. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Chair. We're not going to talk about governance.